Hello. I was up very early. I've been cutting botanical strips out of napkins to finish my pine cone that I started last night. I think I'm going to trim the edges of each leaf that I do in gold. I've got quite a bit more to do, and then see how I like it. Just my first decoupage pine cone. So, hi Aurora. Hi Farm Life. So that's what I've started working on last night. But I do think I'm going to go over each little blade or whatever pine cone with gold. Thanks, Farm Life. Okay, and what I was going to say. So I was listening to, hey there, you're up early today. I was, did you see my pine cone, Davida? I'm working on that. So, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to trim the edges in gold. And then I might put lights on it, might put it in with shells or something. Hi Tracy. Hi Gilby. I was listening to the Johnny Depp Dr. Curry rebuttal and and the cross examination, and then back to the redirect. And hi Sammy. So, and then they took their morning break. They excused her, and then Kate Moss was on. That was really ridiculous. That was so short, but just that it talked about her fall down the stairs when they were away in some resort in Jamaica, and that she slipped from the rain, and he didn't push her, he didn't kick her, he didn't shove her down the stairs. That's basically what's happened today. And that they're trying to get this to the jury. I also want to look at the Brophy case too, just quick. And then I want to do some crafting. There's a Cricut thing I want to do, an exploding birthday box for my daughter that 10th Angel sent me, the downloadable thing. And if you want to come on later in a few minutes, do Cricut stuff together, we can do it. I'm going to go over on the other side. It's going to be like a crafts and crime, and then you can still come up and talk about crime. I'm going to talk about the Texas horrible shooting. We've had 19 children now, and 2 adults, I think, is the latest right now. But Brophy, let me see, didn't that go to the jury yesterday? I have a lot of catch up to do. Let me see. Look, I have the same shirt as Lisa D now. I don't even know if she knows I bought it with her. I don't even know if she knows I have it. She probably think, Lisa, you left your shirt in the car. She's probably checking, like, where the freak is my shirt, unless she's wearing it. Okay, so it's in the hands of the jury. They began deliberations Tuesday morning. Oh, gosh. 6 minutes was all the time Nancy Crampton Brophy needed to wind her way through the Oregon Culinary Institute. On June 2nd, 2018, fired 2 bullets through her husband's heart, the prosecution stated in its rebuttal closing arguments Tuesday before the jury began its deliberations. I thought somebody said Monday it was going to the jury. Okay. So the trial began on April 4th. On the 27th day of the trial, the jury stepped away to decide if the novelist would be found guilty. They did not reach a decision by the end of the day on Tuesday. So we're on verdict watch in the Brophy trial. If you aren't familiar with the case, there is a couple of really good background videos I have on it. Crampton Brophy is accused of murdering her husband, Chef Daniel Brophy, and he was prepping for the day, filling up water and ice containers when he was shot. And then surveillance saw her Toyota Sienna van passing through, and she said she wasn't in the area. And she was also an insurance salesperson and sold herself a lot of life insurance policies. And it goes on and on. Tuesday morning, the Multnomah County Deputy District Attorney Sean Overstreet had an opportunity to fire back at the statements the defense made in its closing arguments on Monday. He said the defense fed the jury several red herrings, statements to mislead or distract them. Overstreet said a few of those red herrings include the defense repeatedly pointing out that there were suspicious people in the area, even though several of the defense's own witnesses testified that June 2nd, 2018 seemed like an ordinary day near the Oregon Culinary Institute, and that there was a person who appears to be a lookout near the building, even though this person was on camera after the time Brophy was likely killed, and that they believe Brophy's red bag was missing, even though no one knows if Brophy brought a red bag to work that day. Overstreet encouraged the jury to look at the hard evidence. He said the defense stated that the Brophies were considering moving to Veronia, but the jury never heard anything about what housing they were looking into in the area or if they could even afford it. Remember, they were in like real financial distress, but she never stopped paying those insurance premiums. He said the defense argued that the prosecution's witness did not look at other cell phone towers near Veronia on the day it alleges that Nancy Crampton Brophy visited a gun range off of Highway 26. However, Overstreet said their expert witness looked at towers within a 10-mile radius of the gun range. And he also said that the defense's argument that Nancy didn't have the gun handling experience to shoot her husband in the chest or back wasn't sound because she likely wasn't that far away, maybe even an arm's length away when she pulled the trigger. And I quote, "This isn't the world's luckiest shot, as defense would have you believe. This was calculated. Now, did she intend to sever his spine? Intend to go through his heart or lungs or anything? I don't know. But she squared up and shot him straight through the back," Overstreet said. As for the second shot, Overstreet said it didn't require any precision at all, because Brophy was likely lying on his back, paralyzed, when his wife stood over him and fired a second time. A medical examiner who testified in the trial stated that the bullet fired through Brophy's chest did not exit fully, indicating his back was pressed against a hard surface like a floor or a wall. Ms. Weinmiller told you that the last time Nancy saw Dan was that morning when they talked about the leak. The reality is the last time that Nancy saw Dan that morning was when she stood over him, looked into his eyes, and pulled the trigger one last time. The defense had argued that even if their client was nearby at the time her husband was killed, she wouldn't have had enough time to commit the crime. Overstreet argued otherwise. He said that Nancy knew her way around the Oregon Culinary Institute, knew how to get in and out, and knew that there weren't any cameras in the building, and that the timing of her vehicle being seen in the area coincides with the approximate time of Brophy's death. He said for someone who had a plan, 5.5 to 6 minutes was enough time for her to go in, shoot him, get out. He also said that the defense's argument about Nancy being better off monetarily if her husband hadn't died is not true. He pointed out that the defense's expert witness, Dr. Daniel Rubinson, said he estimated the total economic loss of Brophy to his wife to be $1.13 million. That's how much Brophy would have contributed to the household financially and through household services for the next 17 years after his death. However, the life insurance and workers' comp Crampton Brophy could have claimed after her husband died totaled approximately $1.6 million, which is more than he could have contributed had he lived. Overstreet pointed out that in her own testimony, Nancy contradicted several points the defense had tried to make. Crampton Brophy said that she handled the gun she purchased, even took the slide and barrel off of it. Her defense attorneys painted a picture that she had no experience using it. Defense attorneys also said that Crampton Brophy purchased the slide and barrel that detectives never found through a link or a pop-up advertisement, but Crampton Brophy testified saying she sought it out and bought it intentionally. Crampton Brophy herself admitted she was driving around OCI the morning her husband was murdered. They had a script that they were trying to follow, a narrative that they needed you to believe, and they messed it up over and over because it's all lies. Overstreet asked the jury to make their decision based on evidence and said the confusion caused by the defense is not reasonable doubt. He said given the jurors' puzzle pieces and although some pieces might be missing, they can still step back and see the full picture of what happened. Nancy's guilty of murdering her husband, and now it's up to you to deliver the justice for Chef Dan Brophy and the rest of the Brophy family. A guilty verdict in the case must be unanimous among the jury. A non-guilty verdict does not need to be unanimous. It only requires 10 jurors to believe she is not guilty. Judge Christopher Ramras said he would try to notify the court 30 minutes before announcing the jury's verdict. In his closing arguments on Monday, Crampton Brophy's defense team said their client did not have a motive to kill her husband. Defense attorney Chris Weinmiller said the Brophies were paying down their debts when Brophy was killed and said the slide and barrel that wasn't seated properly on the handgun police collected does not prove anything. The overwhelming majority of the information you have heard does not support the state's version of facts, that the speculative theory about how the facts might fit together that might have happened isn't sufficient. Instead, the evidence that you have been presented calls very strongly for a verdict of not guilty. So we're on verdict watch now on that. I think they're going to find her guilty. What do you think? I do think they're going to find her guilty. Now let's just look at the Uvalde school shooting. So, very horrific. There were reports yesterday that the grandmother survived the shooting, and now, again, it's saying that she remains hospitalized in critical condition. I don't know. There are reports both ways. So, 19 children and 2 teachers were killed at the shooting at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas. The 18-year-old gunman is dead. He shot his grandmother before the mass shooting. And now, according to something I'm looking at, she remains hospitalized in critical condition. Yesterday, they were saying she died. It was just 2 days before the kids were supposed to go on summer break. This was an elementary school for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade students. It's the deadliest shooting in almost a decade and is only, that Newtown is the deadliest. This is the 2nd deadliest at this time. That's a really sad scale to have, and so many schools on it. All the victims have been identified, removed from the school, and families notified, according to Lieutenant Chris Olivares, the spokesman for the Texas Department of Public Safety. All fatalities and injuries took place inside one classroom. So he got in and got into one classroom. Okay, we were wondering if he was engaged before entering the school, how he could have gotten in there and killed so many people. And where did he get? Well, he got into one classroom right away. And wow, that's just unbelievable. Eva Morales, a 4th grade teacher, is among those killed. She had been an educator for 17 years, enjoyed running, hiking, biking, and spending time with her family. Xavier Lopez, a 10-year-old, has been identified as one of the victims. His mother, Felicia, said he was funny, never serious, and his smile. Emery Joe Garza, another 10-year-old, has been identified by her father as one of the children killed. Angel Garza posted to Facebook early Wednesday, "Thank you, everyone, for the prayers and trying to find my baby. She's been found. My little love is now flying high with the angels above. Please don't take a second for granted. Hug your family. Tell them you love them. I love you, Anne-Marie Joe. Watch over your baby brother for me," said the father. Uzziah Garcia, 10, was identified as one of the victims. His family confirmed. Garcia was in 4th grade. His aunt, Nikki Cross, his uncle, Mitch Renfro, described Garcia as a great kid full of life. Loved anything with wheels and video games. Garcia lives behind 2 sisters. The gunman is believed to have shot his grandmother before heading to the elementary school. She was hospitalized in critical condition late Tuesday. The suspect crashed his vehicle in a ditch near the school before attempting to enter the premises. Texas Department of Public Safety Sergeant Eric Estrada said a motive for the shooting is unclear at this time. Law enforcement engaged the suspect, but he was able to get inside the school and barricade himself inside a classroom where he started shooting. I just don't understand how he did that. As the shooting was taking place, officers were going around the school, breaking windows and trying to evacuate children and staff, and they were able to force entry into the classroom where the shooter was. Uvalde police and state troopers were first to arrive on the scene following a 911 call and were met with gunfire. 2 police officers received non-life-threatening injuries and are out of the hospital, according to Olivares. More than 20 U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents responded to the scene and provided aid. A law enforcement official said at least 1 Border Patrol agent was wounded by gunfire from the shooter, according to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Marcia Espinosa. The gunman, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, is from Uvalde. He had attended Uvalde High School. Now, people were saying last night that perhaps that when he crashed into the ditch, that he wasn't intending to go to the elementary school. This was just something that was people thought about last night. Because why would he go to the elementary school? Someone said that they heard his mother worked there. This is all stuff. This is what happens. There's a lot of information, misinformation, right? But he got crashed in this ditch, and I don't know whether he couldn't get his vehicle out and just went into that school or what. We don't know. But a photo of 2 AR-15 style rifles was posted to an Instagram account linked to Salvador Ramos 3 days before the shooting. The photo was posted as a story under the username Salv8Dor. So it was SALV, the number 8, DOR _. Multiple classmates confirmed this account belonged to Ramos. The 2 guns that investigators say were used in Tuesday's deadly school shooting were purchased by Ramos for his 18th birthday. Okay, so he purchased the guns for his 18th birthday. You can't drink legally, but you can purchase these assault rifles. Unfortunately, on his 18th birthday, he bought those 2 assault rifles. It's the first thing he did when he turned 18. And that was said by Senator Ronald Gutierrez. The guns were bought legally from a federally authorized dealer in the Uvalde area. Ramos had stopped attending school regularly, one of his former classmates said. He barely came to school. Had recently sent this friend, who did not want to be identified, a picture of an AR-15, a backpack with rounds of ammunition, and several gun magazines. Why wasn't this reported? Former classmates said Ramos would get severely bullied and made fun of a lot, and was taunted by others for the clothes he wore and for his family's financial situation. He worked at a local Wendy's So the grandmother is still alive, okay? He's believed to have shot her before going to the school. She was hospitalized in critical condition late Tuesday. We're praying that the grandmother does pull through because obviously she is a key witness, Oliveira says. He said authorities are trying to locate the suspect's grandfather. Where are his parents? Does he have siblings? So what's going on, right? What about all these people that were sent these pictures and didn't say anything? Tom Nordwick, the CEO of Uvalde Memorial Hospital, said that of the 15 patients they received Tuesday from the shooting, all have been either discharged or transferred to other hospitals. No patients remain in-house from the incident yesterday. Some of the patients received scatter or fragment wounds, though he couldn't say what caused those wounds. Those who were injured more significantly had to be transferred to San Antonio hospitals. This morning, University Hospital San Antonio posted an update on its Facebook page, providing an update of the 4 patients that they have received from the Tuesday shooting. A 66-year-old woman in serious condition, a 10-year-old girl in serious condition, a 10-year-old girl in good condition, a 9-year-old girl in good condition. So prayers for all of them to make a full recovery. All pediatric patients have their families with them. Brooke Army Medical Center tweeted Tuesday that it received 2 patients in critical condition. That's for them too. On Wednesday, BAMC said that it did not have an update on the 2 patients they received. And here's one of the victims of the shooting. 10-year-old Jose Flores Jr. was full of energy, his father says. Flores says his son was in the 4th grade and loved baseball and video games. He was always full of energy, ready to play till the night. Flores also described his son as an amazing kid and big brother to his 2 siblings. Ten-year-old Uzziah Garcia, the sweetest little boy, identified as one of the victims killed. His family confirmed. Garcia was in 4th grade, his Aunt Nikki Cross said. His uncle Mitch Renfro described Garcia as a great kid, full of life, loved anything with wheels and video games. And Garcia leaves behind 2 sisters. Grandfather Manny Renfro said, the sweetest little boy that I've ever known. I'm not just saying that because he was my grandkid. The grandfather said that Uzziah last visited him in San Angelo during spring break. We started throwing the football together and I was teaching him pass patterns. Such a fast little boy, and he could catch a ball so good. There were certain plays that I would call that he would remember and he would do it exactly like we practiced. And some of the problems is that it's easier to buy an assault rifle than it is to get a pet in America, especially if you're trying to purchase well, there is a purchase. They call it a rehoming fee, a rescue dog. The process is much harder, much longer, and turns away more people than it does to purchase an assault rifle in America. And we don't have more mental illness than any other nation in the world. There's no evidence of that. There are more mentally ill people here than in Europe. There's no evidence. The difference is when people have homicidal thoughts in the United States, they can walk down to a Walmart and get an assault weapon easier than they can buy a cat and dog. But like we said last night, it's just immediately There need to be stronger security at all of our schools. There should not just be the buzz through doors. There should be a metal detector. There should be armed guards. Our military should be there. That's what we have to do, like, immediately. Because to think that we're going to get all these guns off, we're not going to. You have to have immediately something done, and that's going to be security, and otherwise we're just going to keep losing more of our kids. Exactly, Tracy. And every time kids are born, especially if you lost a child, it brings you right back to that horrificness that, those families faced last night. What they'll face for the rest of their lives. They'll never be the same. The siblings will never be the same. The whole family will never be the same, ever. And the thing is, you don't know until it happens to you, but we just don't know from 1 minute to the next how life changes. 1 second. And people can say all the time, cherish every moment, cherish every this. We say it a lot of times, but there's no telling. It's horrific. So much pain that could be avoided if they just at least put some precautions in place for the schools. That should be like the number one priority. It really should be. I don't know how they engaged this kid, and he got into a classroom and started shooting. How the freak did he get in this school? Someone was saying last night that they heard his mother work there. Well, where is that when I don't even hear mention of his mother or his father? And the tragedy for the kids that were in that classroom, because it's one classroom, and probably 19 kids. What was the class size? So there'll be, at best, a few survivors of that. And those kids will deal with, oh my gosh, survivors, guilt, PTSD, nightmares. Their whole world has changed. Their friends, everyone. I guess Ava Morales was the teacher there. I would assume 2 days before they're supposed to start summer vacation, right? And be all happy and carefree. Tracy, no one is ever the same. We only have, literally, we could tell us, you only have this minute. That's all you know. You don't know what could happen tonight. Your world can change. My world can change again. Everybody's can. It's really terrific. And this stupid Depp freaking trial, all of this has made this Depp freaking trial just get me so angry, because these people in there are, well, she should be making $60 million and she should be making $40 million, and they're paying these experts to come in excess of $200,000 for what? A expert testimony, maybe $300,000, okay? And yet, we don't have the money to make our schools safer, right? I mean, It's insane. It's absolutely insane. The salaries that these actors are paid, that professional athletes are paid, and teachers get paid nothing, okay, and lose their lives because they can't make the schools safer, and they're supposed to be bringing up the next generation of kids and educating them, and there's something wrong here, okay? But we put these, and I'm sorry, talk about Amber Heard. Who the hell is she? Okay? So, and it just is disgusting. And it's disgusting all the time that's been wasted. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. You know, oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I don't think Johnny did anything to her, but I also don't feel tremendously sorry for a man that owned how many properties? How much was he making? And he took a hit because of some bad publicity? People, creators take a hits because of bad publicity on YouTube all the time, and they're not making anything like what this man is making. And it's sick. It's just, this is what they talk about today when that captain was talking about excess and all of this crap surround. This is disgusting. It's disgusting. And put such a oh, well, they deserve to be paid $50 million. They deserve to be paid $100,000 for 1 minute of their time to come in and give testimony. It's just, I can't even watch. Like, I'm watching this and I'm just disgusted. I'm just absolutely disgusted that they're in court, you know, just going over and over how much more time arguing about their salaries, and they didn't have enough money, and just stop it already. It's really disgusting. It's really disgusting. The attorneys for her side saying, "Well, how much were you paid? 100,000, 200,000, 300,000?" Do you know what the salary of that attorney that she has right there asking the questions is? It's grotesque. You know what the thing is? There's people that are really being abused in situations, and we're glorifying this crazy, crazy trial. Hi, Linda Roning. Hi, Janae. So it's sickening. It's enough already. Just give it to the jury and get rid of it. And then have some of these people donate some of that salary to some kind of cause. They're so worried about the children in the hospital that Amber slighted. Are they going to give some of that incredible amount of money they are to those children in the hospital? What are they doing with their money that they have? Nothing, probably. Worthwhile. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And both of them, if they spent their time looking for a role or a movie, I'm sure with all of this, they would have been hired somewhere by now, and they could be making some money instead of sitting there in court arguing over the money that they potentially lost. Yeah, it's really, this kind of stuff puts it in perspective, and these people are clueless, and they're so entitled, and just, it's disgusting. On all sides, it's disgusting. It really is, to be on this long, and it's absolutely disgusting. There's murdered victims' families that are tormented on YouTube. Nobody gives a damn. Nobody gives a damn. But then these entitled people are over there, and because they have all this money and the lawyers want more money, they'll do something, and they'll just go on and drone on for 5 weeks, 6 weeks of all this crap. It's sickening. It really is. So they're saying that he barricaded himself in the one classroom. I still don't know how he got into that school. If he was engaged. They haven't told us this. They certainly do, Davida. That they're look at this. That their lives are put at risk every day, and we can't even get the security that they need. We can't even get metal detectors and gated and armed security guards at every school. But we can sit here and entertain this crap in a courtroom. And we'll pay actors and professional athletes. Oh, they deserve all that money. They deserve it. It's so out of balance, it's not even funny. And we attract, hardly anyone to the teaching profession when they have salaries that are so low in comparison to what they're doing. It's ridiculous. And we still haven't woken up, right? We still haven't. Sickening. Sickening. Put pedestals on plastic people on pedestals that get nothing but plastic surgery and are weighted on hand and foot. And we don't value real people that go to a job every day to teach kids who are the upcoming generations. We don't value them at all. They're the bottom of the barrel. In some, in New York, our teachers probably get very good salaries compared to around, okay? We're talking 6 figures for a lot of them in our school systems. And that's come a long way. But there's districts where they don't make sometimes not even more than 37, 40,000 for. It's ridiculous. It's so bottom of the barrel. It's not even funny. It's ridiculous, and we can't. I mean, these are our children. This is our future, and we can't even keep them safe. Exactly, and our military to other countries, when we should have people from our military in front of every single school in America with assault rifles, okay, at gates and checkpoints well beyond the front doors. But we'll just keep going on, and we'll argue about, they'll gun laws and this and that. You can argue that till you're blue in the face. Something needs to be done right now about the security of the schools to shore them up. it's really sickening. I have no. I listened a little bit to Dr. Curry, and that's it. I mean, I am disgusted, absolutely disgusted with that trial. You know, sitting there. I'm sorry. It's disgusting. It is. Not even, did they even have a moment of silence for any of these kids that were killed? No. They're right on, right on, right on with their little petty freaking arguments. Exactly, Tracy B. We need to get these schools secured. And the first thing they can do is start getting our military in front of every single school, every single entrance around the perimeter. There's should be universal precautions. Doesn't matter if you're in the PTA or whatever. There should be a metal detectors brought in immediately. It's disgusting. Oh, great news. Why wonder? That's wonderful. How many more? How many more? How many more? Just today. We haven't changed anything. And copycat people, and there, you think this kid is the only kid out there thinking this? And these people that don't say anything when they see something, and people that don't take it seriously, and no way to report it on social media. If you do see something like that, no hotline, nothing changes yet. But we just keep staying and we keep doing the same old thing. And then it happens again and again. And they want to argue about gun laws and legislation. And when they should have closed every school in America today, got a plan in place to get security in there, bring our military to every school right now until the end of the year, and then devise a plan over the summer where they have to build gates, metal detectors, armed guards, and secure up those premises. Sickening. It's absolutely sickening. Families that have their lives ripped apart forever because nobody can do anything. And then it's just our society. Look at how many hundreds of thousands of people are glued to this Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Look at that. How many do you think are watching, or even probably some of those people in there don't even know there was a massive shooting in that school? Maybe even up to half don't even know. But they'll sit there and they'll just recant everything Amber Heard, and they'll clamor to get in the courtroom and all of that crap, because that's what's valued. That's what's valued. Not our kids, not our future. It's not going to happen in my town, so I don't have to worry about it. We don't have that kind of stuff in my town. And it's absolutely true. It's harder to get a dog from a rescue organization than it is to go and get an assault rifle. Your screen is frozen. It should not be, Lisa Hobbs. My screen is not frozen. You're in Canada, Tracy. I didn't know that. But it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Exactly, Davida. And nobody cares about the teachers. They're just like, oh, and it's so looked at. You want to be a teacher? Ugh. Oh, they get paid crap, and you got to put up with other people's kids, and it's a profession we should be making as enticing as possible to get the best possible people in there to teach these kids, right? It's disgusting. But that's the value of America. And these celebrities, these stars, they don't even deal, they're not even in any sort of reality, okay? They're not even in any sort of reality. They can't even manage their own freaking money. How many of them are so stupid that they have their managers that are stealing their money and then they're bankrupt and they don't even know? They don't know how to manage a freaking dime. They just pay anyone anything, right? And it's just supposed to be fine because they've got all this money coming in. And then when something happens, we're supposed to, oh, poor guy. Oh my gosh. You mean he's not making $80 million this year? He had to take a cut and it's only $40 million? And people are, it's sickening. Exactly, Chris Ray. I mean, our priority is just in whole. Just look at this. How many people are watching this trial? And then people that don't have kids in, oh, well, I don't have kids in school. I don't really care. Cecilia says, imagine if all these citizens were more involved and interested in our country, being sold out and torn apart for decades. No, they care about movie star worship and game shows. Exactly. I mean, this trial is just proving it. It's disgusting. It's a disgusting display. It's gone on far too long. And you know what? To even go in there and be doing this on a day when this has happened and no acknowledgement, nothing, it should make themselves feel like, what are we doing? They're just so out of freaking touch. And we enable it. We enable it. Put them on these pedestals so they get paid these unbelievable salaries for being fake people. It's sickening. But teachers, educators, let's not give them too much. Wow, they're getting 100,000. That's a lot. That's good enough for them. It's better than that 37 they used to get. Yeah, Picky Nicky, you're right. I'm making, yeah, I am. I'm sensationalizing things. No, I deal with facts, Picky Nicky, and I know who you are, so bye-bye. Get out of here. There's absolutely no big bucks here, kiddo. No sensationalizing or conspiracy theories, so I'll get you right out of here. Go back to the Depp trial. I'm slurring my words, yes, because I'm on drugs. Yes, Picky, I'm slurring my words. This is what I mean about the ridiculous, obsessed lunatics that watched everything more so than ramblers. All they know is hate, Lisa. Don't even worry. They're beyond. I think they're even beyond saving. Their hearts are so black. They're the true evil that infiltrates our society. The true evil. Why am I hearing no one cares about kids? What? Flo, because there was a mass shooting and little 10-year-old children and teachers, but kids in the prime of their life lost their lives yesterday because we can't do a simple thing like secure our schools properly, invest the money in what we need to secure all schools in America. And these teachers put their lives on the line every day, and so do these students, and so do these families, entrust their children to these institutions that are not properly secured. But meanwhile, everybody is glued to a trial that has gone on forever and is just disgusting in that the amounts of money that these people are being paid and these expert witnesses and whatnot, when we cannot pay our teachers adequately to even attract more to the profession, but to compensate for what they're doing every day and putting themselves and these kids. It's just going to happen again unless we do something, Flo. Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares that they might get a role that's $10 million less? But we see who cares. The 500,000, the million, how many people are in a live stream there? 600,000, 700,000 watching that, glued to that probably don't even know about the mass shooting, don't even understand or want to even understand about these families that have had their lives ripped apart, people that don't even want to be teachers anymore because we don't pay them correctly, people that don't want to send their kids to school because they're scared. Yeah, I'm really concerned about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard at their fake domestic violence trial. I'm not. Expert witnesses that are paid $300,000 for the day? No, I'm not interested. All of this is just another movie. That's all it is another movie. And then they can both act in their own lifetime version. It's really ticked me off today, Flo. It really has. Was there a moment of silence for any of those lives lost? Did they start court with a moment of silence? Even one moment to recognize that? The loss of those lives? Anything? I don't think so. It's disgusting. They continue to fight over movies that probably wouldn't even be made Because, what was it, 5 parts of the Pirates of the Caribbean? 5? And the salaries paid there wasn't enough. I don't want to talk about politics, this administration, that administration. They're all crooked. Sorry, that's the way I feel. I don't trust any politicians. I'm not going to discuss politics, but there's no point in arguing about gun legislation. That takes forever. Right now, they need to secure the schools and they should get the military there, or they should cancel school for the rest of the year. But every single day, they put everyone's lives in danger and no one gives a crap until something happens. And then a week later, everybody's forgotten it until it happens again. And all the politicians do is see either side. And this is why I don't care to argue it for their own benefit. But nobody really cares about these kids enough to do anything for them. And they can easily. They should. They should shut all the schools down and copy. Exactly. They copycat them, honey. Oh, especially all these people with walking around with mental illness right now. They're killing their own families. Oh, I'll go out in a blaze of glory. I'll be known as the. This time, I'll make sure that it's the biggest one. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Kelly in Texas. Hi, Leslie. Exactly. Politicians, all of them, I don't care which party, all they do is use it for their own agenda. What are they really doing? They just want to argue for whatever side they stand on, whatever laws they want, and they don't care. That's another grotesque. I've never trusted politicians. My daughter was in politics, and my daughter is like totally not of that mindset. I was like, why are you even in that? Until the one day she called me from the floor of the legislature and said, you know what? I'm out of here. These people disgust me. They are liars. They are frauds. They disgust me. And she walked away from that and she got into urban planning and transportation. And it was the best thing ever because I could never see my daughter in those circles. And it had nothing to do with party or anything. They're all, to me, they're all people that are in politics. Most of them are narcissists, liars, frauds, cheats. Sorry. Yeah. It's disgusting. And they'll go on TV and they'll all argue about this and that and nothing gets done for the kids. And there are other ones that are, you know, that's why one of the reasons I don't talk politics and I don't care. Democrats, Republicans, I don't care. It's disgusting. the end of the day, not one thing is done to make our kids more secure, teachers more secure, the administration in the schools more secure. Nothing. But they'll be on every talk show, every news show, arguing about gun laws. Okay? It's disgusting. It's what's valued in this society. It really is. And because, 10 years from now, whether Johnny Depp wins this defamation case or not is going to matter. No, it's freaking not. You know what's going to matter are the people that lost their lives. Okay? And the families that were ripped apart and the repercussions that those siblings face. Okay? We're talking about mental illness. We're talking about all of this. Do you know how that ravages a family? How that kind of grief tears families apart? How that kind of grief changes everything? And it's senseless. It's senseless because this could be stopped. This isn't cancer or, okay? This isn't a disease. This is a senseless act of violence that could have been stopped. And it happens over and over and over again. And now, what's going to happen with these families over time is going to impact everything. This stupid defamation case is just, it's so frivolous. Your mom just texted you that a student was arrested at Clearbrook High School with a gun. Where is that, in Texas? You confirm news stories online. But we're going to sit here and worry about, stupid Johnny Depp. Sorry, it is. At this point, no moment of silence for the children. Everybody's just... It's disgusting. Did he shoot his way into... But why didn't they take him down, Flo? Why didn't they shoot him in the freaking head? I don't understand how he was engaged and still got in that school. You shouldn't have been able to get in that school. And that's the number one thing. Sorry, you can't get that chihuahua from the rescue group because you don't qualify, but here's your assault rifle, and you can just go right through those doors and go in that school and kill 19 children and educators. Go on. I mean, there's something wrong. Don't you think there's something really freaking wrong? Every school should have been canceled today, and they should have said, we're going to get our I don't care, get the military, make a perimeter around every single school until the end of the year if that needs be. Then put up the gates, metal detectors, get our military to be at every single gate entrance, and it's universal. So it's not, oh, there's Susie, she's the mother, because they do that with me too. We live in a small town. I'm very well known in the school system. I've been on the PTA, the president of the parent volunteers. I've been the class parent. And literally, if I just say my name, they don't even look up from their desk and they would buzz me right in. But it shouldn't be like that. Okay? Everybody should have to go through the same precautions, because what if I just flipped out one day and decided that, I'm going to go do something. It's the problem that they stereotype, oh, Susie, the classroom mom, is not going to come in and shoot up anybody. And Jeremy's mother works here, and they've been in the community for years, so Jeremy's not going to do anything. There's always stupid mistakes. It's just two men approached when he went into the ditch and he shot at them. They said he was engaged, Flo, before he entered that school. How are two men? See, there's a problem with that. When our laws are really try to get a rescue dog from an organization, you'll go through more checks, more paperwork, all of this stuff than you can to go buy an AR-15. That's number one. But beyond that, immediately they can make changes to how the schools are protected. No, but he was also engaged, they said, with someone that was armed. Yes, and that's another thing, Lizzie. These parents should face consequences like they did with the Michigan shooter. Those parents are in jail now, okay? But what's going on? Where were his parents? We haven't heard a thing about his parents. We heard that he shot his grandmother. And they're hoping that she survives so she could answer some questions. But where is the rest of the family? Your daughter couldn't qualify to rescue chick. Exactly. She's a vet tech and has two chick. That's the craziness, Janae, right? That's the craziness. Your daughter can't adopt a chicken, okay? She was declined from adopting a chicken. But the sad thing is, Davida, they're not going to change anything. And you know what it is? It's not their kid. It wasn't their family. And it's forgotten. In a few days, it will be forgotten. Those families will have to live forever with the repercussions, okay? We talk about mental illness. Yes, they'll have grief counseling at the school for a couple of days, and then these siblings and these parents who don't have resources, who maybe don't even have proper insurance, and won't even be getting the grief counseling what they need. And even grief counseling is no big miracle cure, okay? And so that has lifelong repercussions. And it didn't have to happen. But we don't learn. 2012, Newtown, Connecticut. 2022, Uvalde, Texas. What have we learned in between? Nothing. What have we done? Nothing to make these schools secure. There should already be bulletproof glass in those doors. Yeah, but Cecilia, there's no report saying that we have more mental illness than in Europe. Okay? But yes, we do have unchecked mental illness, people that are not getting therapy, people that coming out of this pandemic seem, and I think it's because drug use increased during the pandemic significantly because people were laid off and this and that, and they turned to drugs and they turned to things, substances, because we're coming out of the pandemic and the violence is so much worse. But it shouldn't be each school that needs to rally and fight. Our nation should rally and fight. Our nation should say enough is enough. All resources are going into protecting these schools. By September, every school will have a gated perimeter. Every entrance will have a metal detector. There will be armed security guards. Our military will secure those schools. Our military that's being sent off to protect other countries, part of that should be here, securing our schools. Don't you think so? I'm talking about on a scale though, Flo. Not, of course numbers would be higher, but I'm talking about on a scale. But do you know what I mean? But they should be, they should have closed all the schools and they should have just said, that's it. We closed the schools for the pandemic. We've closed the schools for higher virus numbers, right? Just make a simple change. You could fight legislation and try to pass laws forever. It's not going to happen by September when schools open again or August when schools open again, no matter where you are. But you can get gates up and you can get metal detectors and you can get armed security. Chris Ree, it's that. It's people can't even get rehab treatment, okay? Do you know how hard it is for people to get treatment in rehabs that want to get off drugs? Okay? Yeah, our country has big, big problems with mental health and people trying to get help, even the ones that they have online. What about these people that don't have resources? But there needs an immediate plan to protect these schools or shut them down. But the sad thing is, it's not going to happen. It's not. You're going to see this on the news for a few days, and then it's going to go away. And there'll be something else. Maybe another mass shooting. Or maybe another, oh, it's the Johnny Depp verdict. We got to watch the Johnny Depp verdict. These entitled people fighting each other. You know, we'll put our time and effort in that. It's sad. It's sad, but that's where, until it happens to a lot of people personally, people don't care. They don't think it's going to happen in their school. They don't think it's going to happen in their town. And some people even get a false sense of security. You ever hear people that say, oh, there's a big plane crash. This is the safest time to fly because what are the odds of having another huge plane crash right after that one? That's kind of like what it is. Okay, well, we had this and I'm sure they're working on something. So I'll put my head in the sand and I'll watch the Johnny Depp trial. Cecilia says, yes, rehab is almost impossible, and it is impossible to get, except for stars like Johnny Depp, who can have their own island and not even rehab successfully, right? Except for those people, But for the average Joe that might be addicted to opioids or benzodiazepines or something, or mothers looking for help for teenage children that need help, then it's a big thing. They can't get it. Okay? It's a horrible problem. That's what makes it even more disgusting, is that people like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they have all the resources, all the money to get every bit of help they need in any direction. And yet we're sitting there watching this and feeling sorry for these people that, oh my gosh, can you believe he's only going to earn $45 million for that movie instead of the $65 million that he's entitled to? But we don't care anything about the mother or the father that's trying to get help from their teenager who's addicted to opioids, who can't get their child into a program. We don't care. And it's sad. We were listening to Dr. Kipper and when, what's his name, had to go in, the Murdaugh, he had to go into rehab. Of course, all their money, they can get into their rehab. Did it help them at all? No, not at all. We're not talking about politics, Flo. It's just, it's disgusting that nothing is done for our kids. I don't care what party they are. They're not doing anything. Our whole society as a whole values everything that's so completely unbalanced. A lot of counties don't even have state-funded resources for people that don't have money, and certain substances like benzodiazepines, the certain treatment centers won't even take anyone that is addicted to that because it is such a dangerous substance to come off of. You hear it over and over. People couldn't get into treatment centers who wanted help. And then they just feel like, okay, F it. I tried everything to get into help, to get help. Or parents say, I've tried everything to get help for my kid and I can't do it. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But again, there's more in place so that you can't get that Chihuahua from the rescue group or the Pomeranian or the whatever it is. It's ridiculous. And all these celebrities who are so hooked on everything and just go to these rehabs like they're some sort of vacation club and never work. You know, I mean, it's just, it's all backwards. We got family members with mental health 2 times, and they sent them home 3 days the first time and 7 days the second. Nothing was done. Sent home even worse. That's horrible, Lisa. Families being left in lurch, yeah. Zero support. They get turned away. Exactly. You hear it over and over from the. If you talk to regular people, it's over and over. Celia says, exactly, Lisa. I know someone who went to a mental health ER because he was so desperate and they sent him home. No insurance or insurance not accepted. Linda Roning says, I lost my son last year to mental illness. Couldn't get anyone to help me. Really, Linda, I'm so sorry. But I understand and I hear it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that they don't help people. They don't. And you're on Long Island, right, Linda? It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. And then a lot of people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to say, my son, my daughter, my sister, my wife, my husband needed mental help and I couldn't get it for them. Or they needed substance abuse help, and I couldn't get it for them. And people don't want to talk about it because it's such a stigma, okay? So everybody keeps it all wrapped up in this tidy little package. And so these people think they're all by themselves suffering in the system and trying to get help and yet not wanting to talk about it. And it's ridiculous. Hi, Nana Patty. But again, let's, all worry about entitled actors who have everything at their fingertips and still keep screwing up and keep screwing up. More people need to talk about it. More people need to not be stigmatized. There's so much stigma around all of that. Exactly, Cecilia. Agony, right? For a parent trying to help a child, keep getting turned away. Oh, I'm sorry. What insurance is that? Oh, you don't have that. Oh, yeah, you can do that. That'll be a self-pay, right? Oh, that is only that's only 30,000 for the week. Do you have that? How would you like to put that on your card? The auction is going to be around 6:30. Kubi was auctioning items last night to help with whatever fund the school shooting victims have. And see, this is what I mean when things are skewed. And yet you have all those people in a courtroom getting paid outrageous sums of money. And did they even have a moment of silence for those children? No. Mm-mm. But Kubi goes on to sell some things to donate to the families. This is what I mean. It's just so disgusting. All families who have mental illness and a loved one suffer horribly. There is so much judgment and hostility. My family is going through this now. And Cecilia, the sad thing is you're not alone. And probably so many people that you're around every day are doing the same thing, but they're also have that stigma that they won't admit it. And it's what is it doing? It's doing nothing. Exactly, Lisa. Exactly. She says, just look at YouTube. They weaponize mental health or make jokes about it. Sick. Exactly, Lisa. And I said that earlier. YouTube allows people to be victimized, bullied, harassed, and they think it's okay. And yet, you have these creators on YouTube that are not making anything in correlation to anything that these stores are making, but they can't take it, and their businesses suffer, and all of this happens, and yet nobody cares what happens to the regular people who are, whatever their shows, their channels, they could be trying to bring something and they're bullied against, their income's declining because of the harassment and the bullying. They don't care. They don't care about the victimization of victims' families. They allow that. They allow conspiracy channels to go on and just make money off of lies about cases, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. So how could we it's just believe me though, if the same thing was had, we sit in there and you follow that and you follow that and you follow that. Of course they are, Tracy. They're always here watching. But yeah, sad stuff. And so many victims, so many families. See what's going on. Trying to see if there's any updated. Where is So if you're joining us late, the grandmother, where there were conflicting reports that the gunman shot his grandmother, last night it was saying that the grandmother had been killed. That's not true. The grandmother is in the hospital in critical condition, and investigators are hoping that she pulls through because they have a lot to ask her, considering that she's an eyewitness and could lead some insight on what happened here. It's also said that they're searching for his grandfather, but where are his parents? Now, yesterday someone came in and said that they thought his mother worked at that school. He had stopped going to school. He was allegedly bullied. This is all according to a source that didn't want to be identified, that was a friend. Also someone that said was shown 2 assault rifles that the gunman bought on his 18th birthday and sent them around along with the backpack and ammunition, magazines, all of that. But apparently that person that saw that never reported that. There's another problem. Everybody, how many people see something and want to report, oh, don't make trouble for yourself. Oh my gosh, you might tick them off. Oh, what if they find out it's you? And so many people don't report something and say, oh, I doubt that they would ever do anything with that. It's probably just a phase. You just want some assault rifles. Probably you'll fire them at clay pigeons in the backyard, not go on a school shooting, right? Okay. And so that's why, you could say, see something, say something. Very few people say anything. They're just, it's not affecting me. I'm walking by. I don't want this to come back on me. Somebody might find out it was me. This is so many things that are wrong, but the lives that are lost. And again, just so you know, because we will put a face. A lot of people don't want to put a face to the lives that are lost. This is little Uzziah Garcia, 10 years old. One of the victims that was killed at the Robb Elementary School in 4th grade. His uncle, Mitch Renfro, described Garcia as a great kid full of life, loved anything with wheels and video games, and he leaves behind 2 sisters. His grandfather, Manny Renfro, spoke and said, "It's the sweetest little boy I've ever known. I'm not just saying that because he's my grandkid." Said that little Uzziah visited him in San Angelo during spring break. We started throwing the football together, and I was teaching him pass patterns. Such a fast little boy, and he could catch a ball so good. There were certain plays that I would call that he would remember, and he would do it exactly like we practiced. But he's not going to have the chance to do anything else with his grandfather on earth, or his aunt, or his siblings. Okay? Neither is this little boy. Jose Flores Jr., full of life, full of energy, his father says. So Jose Flores Jr., 10 years old. Remember, these kids were all in the same classroom that this shooter entered the school and then barricaded in this classroom, and that's where all of the shooting took place. One classroom ravaged, 4th grade. Flores said his son was in the 4th grade and loved baseball and video games. He was always full of energy, ready to play till the night. Said his son was an amazing kid and big brother to his 2 siblings. Beyond that, there's a Mary Jo Garza, 10 years old. She died. She was trying to call the police on the gunman. Her grandmother, Berlinda Irene Areola, said that she had also won an honor roll award earlier that day, and her father reportedly spent hours waiting for information before confirming her death on Facebook. Xavier Lopez, 10, so full of life, said his mother, Felicia Martinez. He liked sports, art class, and hamming it up for the camera. He was funny, never serious, and his smile. That smile I will never forget. It would always cheer anyone up. Eliana Cruz Torres also lost her life. Annabelle Guadalupe Rodriguez, 10 years old, 3rd grader. She was in her cousin's classroom when the shooter came in. Rogelio Torres, 10. His relatives confirmed lost his life in this. And of course, Eva Morales, 4th grade teacher, 44 years old. She was married to a police officer. Their daughter just graduated from college. She did all she could to live a long life, and here it was cut short. She reportedly helped her students climb out the window before Ramos shot her. Irma Garcia, who was Morales' co-teacher, also killed. Her son, Christian Garcia, said that she taught at the Robb Elementary for 23 years and had 4 kids. She sacrificed herself protecting the children in the classroom. She died a hero. She was loved by many and will be truly missed. It's important to realize that the people behind the numbers, because it's so desensitized, right?
Graduated. Big time.
And very sad. If you just to make it a number, it's easier to get by if you just make it a number, right? And that's what a lot of people do. It didn't affect me, it didn't affect my family, it's just a number. In a week it'll be done. And one of the victims, one of the survivors of the Parkland shooting, that's exactly what they said last night, and challenged anyone to remember a name of a victim in a shooting from last week. So it's what happens. All the parents, the siblings, grandparents, they're never ever the same. Lifelong trauma, lifelong, we talk about mental illness. How do you think this affects the siblings of these children? We want to talk about, does Amber Heard have PTSD or she does not have PTSD? I can tell you probably who has PTSD. The kids that were in that classroom that survived the shooting. Does anybody care about them? Probably not. But we can argue whether she has PTSD or she doesn't have PTSD. So, yeah, sickening. They're not even moment of silence, not even a moment of silence for them in that courtroom. Just right back to 100 million, 50 million, fight. No. Does anybody hear the schools are going to be canceled until they get any plans that the military is going to surround every elementary school until the end of the year? Plans that over the summer they'll put the gates they need, the metal detector, the secure the perimeter of the school before they can even get to the school doors. Make sure there's bulletproof glass in every glass pane in every school, if it's not already. So we have subway shootings and the cameras aren't working in the subways. Okay, that's not a priority apparently. They weren't working when they had that shooting where thankfully no one was killed, right? A few weeks ago? But then when a 40-year-old man is gunned down in the prime of his life, they still aren't working in whatever station, or they're falling off the wall, or they... But make sure, there's bottled water for everyone at the Depp trial, and everybody can come in, and everybody's going to go through a metal detector over there, right? To get into the courtroom. We'll keep their safety paramount. Sad. It's sad because we know it's going to happen again. And the thing is it going to happen again? Is it going to be your child, your grandchild, your cousin, your nephew, your brother, your sister? But it's going to happen again because nothing is ever done. And they'll still be arguing on either side of the political parties and using stuff for an agenda, but not really caring about really making the kids safe. I did a recap of the morning session, and then I got disgusted. It was a recap of the morning. Up into, do you see where it says the morning recap? And then it also says the school shooting. We're on the school shooting now. Yeah.
Okay, so in between the time from that, the one that was in Buffalo,
Yeah.
and then this one, there was one at a church, I think in California. Did you hear about it? And they grabbed the guy. So I gotta look into it and see what happened. They grabbed him and hog-tied him. So he went in the church shooting, and I look and see what happened. But I know they stopped. They hog-tied him until the cops got there. So I mean, I've heard before where there's a lot of them where people try to stop the person and they get shot, killed. But this is a pretty good one with,
My daughter will take them out of school for the last few days. This is crisis level. Yeah, it's Janae, it's just ridiculous. Shouldn't have. I mean, our kids should be safe. They should be able to go to school and be safe.
Yeah, I guess if they want to allow these guns out there like that, they should.
No, they should have. They should have
National Guard, like you said, on every little place, and maybe out like to the woods to see if somebody could sneak up through the woods. I thought about that.
But not even that. They should be gated. But that front door should not be the first point of entrance, and there should be a metal detector.
Well, there usually is at a lot of schools, but
usually is. Okay, Jimmy, it has to be universal. Every school.
A lot of them do have them. Again, in New York City, they have them.
Okay.
We should look into and find out exactly the full details of how he got in there. But I mean, like the lady
got into one classroom. There's so many conflicting reports. He was engaged. He wasn't engaged. He was engaged by an armed person. He wasn't engaged by an armed person.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I heard they engaged with him. Maybe, who knows? They may not be in the best. Like that one cop that just kind of took off when the guy started shooting. I mean,
that was at Marjorie Douglas.
Yeah. So I mean, but maybe
he wasn't a cop. He wasn't a cop either, was he? Wasn't he just a resource officer? Or not even. I don't even think he was whatever. He ran in the other direction.
The bullets bounced off his armor. He just stood there, looked at him, and maybe started aiming at AK at him or whatever, and they took off. Maybe or got out of the way. But I heard he hit somebody. It bounced off. It skinned their head and probably would knock them out for sure. But I mean, there's that. And with that AK, he could have just shot the door up and kicked right in if it was locked.
They shouldn't be able to shoot the door up.
Yeah, they shouldn't. Yeah, he shouldn't have got that. Maybe if there were, some.
You can't fight over gun legislation, right? You need
there,
to do something immediately.
Yeah, like I said, some National Guards there. They would have. They could have.
We have a strong military. It should be around every school system right now. The state should have done it today.
And they should have AK too.
Exactly.
Right, that's what I mean.
They should have assault rifles, the military, around these schools protecting the kids because the people coming in are having them. This is nuts.
It's a shame.
It's just nuts. Exactly. Our military should have been put out on every school system that's in session in America right now. They should be. But, of course, they're not. But if we had to go bring assistance somewhere else, they would get them right there. It's we don't even value, as a nation, the things we value is just ridiculous. It's a really big wake-up call. Oh, I'm sorry, Nicole. Your baby bunny. And it's already, you can hear it already in the reports on the news. There's smaller and smaller coverage of this, and it will just go away. And unfortunate to say, because it's in a area with a large minority population, it'll probably dissipate even faster than, like, remember Parkland, more upscale, and that's unfortunate. Again, in our society, that's what happens.
Well, a lot of people are against anything to do with take away guns. I mean,
But this shouldn't even be about guns on both sides. It shouldn't. They're using it for an agenda. It should. The immediate thing should be to secure these schools immediately. That forget the legislation. That fight for that is going to be forever. There'll still be guns in people's homes that would never even be collected. No matter what, you have to secure the schools. Should be the one thing. And they but you don't even hear anybody saying it. You don't hear one person saying it. They're just fighting about gun legislation.
Yeah. I don't know. So I mean, it's like
I haven't heard one person say the schools need to be more secure.
It's like a waste of time to do that right now. So they should just It should be secure the schools, and there should be a perimeter around them, not like a school with woods that go right up to the back of it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It should be very monitored and have cameras there and all, and then be ready. Have guards there that can take care of business, and that's it. Just do that.
But they don't do it. They won't do it.
The NRA some other day. What the heck? The NRA has a convention there, like in a couple days or something. A big old meeting right in Texas. So
that shouldn't have any bearing.
A couple days.
But that shouldn't have any bearing. Right, and they'll be back with the thing until another one happens.
I mean, they can't even get it past it to have better background checks. They can't even pass that.
That's what they said. It's harder to adopt a dog from a rescue group than it is to get an assault rifle. Come on. We got a real problem in this world.
Yeah. I don't know. You're right. And then they also said that kid can't buy any alcohol.
Right, he can't drink, but he can get an assault rifle. But still, that's neither here nor that's fine. They can talk about laws, but they need something right away. And I haven't heard one person mention it. That we've got to secure the schools. We have to close the schools until we get. These schools should have secured. We're going to put the military there. Nothing. Not one thing about securing the schools. That they're arguing about on both sides about their legislation. But Linda, that shouldn't be. We pay taxes, school taxes. There's some people that can't or not qualified or shouldn't be teaching their children at home. And children that are safer in school and have more structure. It shouldn't have to be that you have to teach your children at home because our schools are not safe. Our schools should be safe. That's not the answer. Our schools should be safe. That should be the number one priority. All these politicians arguing with one another, all these groups, that's not the point. Not one person has said secure up the schools right now. Stop the schools. They stopped them for the pandemic, right? He had magazines. All I know, I don't know the exact number, Dandy. He had magazines of ammunition, but I just can't believe there's not one thing I have heard that they said we're going to shore up the security on the schools. I haven't even heard them talking about how he got into the school. Everything is just turning to the politics of the situation. That's really sad. Exactly, Lisa. Some of those kids need to be in school. Some of those kids get their meals in school. Some of those kids, as Kubi can even tell you, get upset when the schools go on break because their home life is crap. I don't know. From wife, where did you hear that the side door was unlocked? Did you actually hear that on a credible source? Because I haven't heard anything about that. Somebody, there's so many conflicting. Somebody said he shot up the door, shot up the lock. Somebody said that he was let in because his mother worked there, which I don't think is true because I haven't heard hide nor hair about his mother. They have police, Rosalita, but yes, they have resource officers. They have this. They need the military. They need a perimeter around the school. Nobody should be able to get to those doors that buzz you in just by that. There needs to be a secondary system, a gate, metal detectors. We need to do so much more. And while it may be that way at your Las Vegas school, it's not like that at every school. And it should be universal. And the first thing they should do is have the military deployed to every school right now. They showed a video showing him go in the door. But how do you know it was unlocked and it was not buzzed? Because they're not doing anything extra in my kid's school. Besides what there is, they're not doing anything extra in this county's schools. I haven't heard anything on the news that they're doing anything extra in anyone's schools. They did cancel the last 2 days of classes for that school, maybe surrounding schools, I don't know, but they didn't cancel any classes for my kids. We just don't do enough. It seems like just another time for both sides, whatever side, whatever party. That's what I'm saying. I don't even want to discuss the politics of it because whatever party's using it for their agenda, it's all they're doing. And it does nothing to secure the schools because any type of legislation would take so much time, and we don't have time right now that they can secure up these schools. And unfortunately, really, another week. Look, how many people are talking about the Buffalo supermarket shooting? How many people talk about any mass shooting after a while? It just goes by the wayside. People go by. And that's why the numbers are just numbers to people. And it's totally desensitized. Exactly, Lisa Hobbs. Mental health of the children. We have children that have died when those schools were closed, that didn't eat, that were starved to death, that were killed, buried in their backyards, went missing, were drowned, children with special needs that needed resources at the schools and couldn't get them because they were closed during the pandemic. Parents who couldn't deal with these issues 24/7, who abused these children, killed these children, hid it, and were able to hide it because of the pandemic. Even domestic violence between two spouses that weren't getting along when they were working outside of the home, or one of them was working outside of the home, forced to be in the same vicinity, forced to deal with financial problems and everything else. But it's just, I'm listening to it right now. They're talking about the shooting, and it immediately goes to, we've got this senator and that senator and this representative and this one, and they're all they're doing is fighting over gun legislation. None of them are saying we need to bring in the military and secure the schools. we need to cancel the schools. We need a better solution for security in the schools. Not one. Not one. Not one. So that's all they're talking about. He was wearing body armor, but they could have shot him in the head. Right? But then there's conflicting reports where did the one that engaged with him even have a gun? Exactly, Rosalita. We need a plan, and now for every school. Universal. Someone was already saying that their mother reported in Texas another person was picked up having a gun, and she confirmed. I don't know, but there's a lot of copycats that come out. Exactly, Cecilia. And I do believe substance abuse got worse during the pandemic when people were forced to, even alcoholism. Imagine, you're in a house with a spouse that you can't deal with, and what do you have at your disposal? Maybe alcohol. Maybe you have pills, maybe whatever. Yeah, that's why I think as people are emerging, all of this stuff, they're for 2 years they've dealt with this, and it's taken its toll. A real toll. Yeah, so it's sad. It's very sad. And like this, again, you can say, oh, we've got precautions, we've got bulletproof glass, you have to be buzzed in our school, and you have to show ID, and I'm living proof. I could go up there right now, and the lady and I'll tell her my name, which is very well known in that school as someone who's an advocate for the kids, who's president of the parent volunteers, and they'll just let you in. And a lot of time they're caught up in their own thing. They don't even look at the camera, right? They don't. But what's to say I haven't completely lost my mind and decided that I was going to come in and do something? And that's the way they have to be thinking. Not that we know this person, we know that person, they're okay. It's got to be universal. And a lot of people are scared to do that, especially in a small town. If I question Mrs. Armstrong, her family, they have the legal office, and they're old. I can't do anything. I can't make her go through the metal detector, and that's how it is. Oh, it's Mrs. Armstrong. Just let Mrs. Armstrong in. So people make these assumptions on who they think, but look what's happening. Look at that woman who's looked 34 years old, and probably she's a yoga teacher, and probably looked accomplished and beautiful, and she just killed the 25-year-old professional cyclist because she went swimming with her professional cyclist boyfriend. You can't look at somebody and say, they're okay, well, that one looks deranged. How many times have you ever seen something where some guy looks crazy? Maybe long, and they're not the crazy one, and the guy that's dressed in the suit and is educated and everything is the one that's completely unhinged? How many times have you heard that? And the other one that looks like maybe Grizzly Adams or something, okay, is the one that's the hero and saving these people while the other one is insane, okay? You can't look at somebody and make a determination. Looks are deceiving, everything. It's... Sorry to hear that, Rosalita. Exactly. Action is needed. Action is needed. And all that I'm hearing on the TV is we've got this one, and they're going to talk about legislation. They're going to talk about gun laws. Not one person is saying we need something done immediately to secure these kids. It's sad. But you know what? Sad thing is, I bet you if you took a survey of those people that are watching the Depp trial and mark, like, what are you most concerned about? Are you concerned about the outcome of this trial, or are you concerned about what the safety of children in schools? 100% they're concerned with the outcome of the Depp trial. And the number two thing is probably some of them don't even know that it happened. But that's the sad thing. It is. And they'll say, well, what do you want us to do? We can't do anything about it. We're powerless. And it's the way it is. It's the way the world is today. Until it happens to one of their families, God forbid, but the way things are going, how is it not going to be affecting more and more families? Because it just gets worse. Because it doesn't stop. It's 2012, Newtown. It's 2022, Uvalde. It's Buffalo, 10 days ago? Just keeps going on, and it affects more and more. Exactly, Henny, because a lot of schools, like in areas like mine, have woods around them. While the kids are out on the playground, somebody can easily sneak up and go in. That's another thing. When there's instances where kids are out for recess, and kids are out for fire drills, and kids are out for outdoor gym classes, and when anybody watching can see the times, okay, they go out 12:30 to 1, I can easily sneak up. Because you can get into any athletic field outside, right? You can get in. That's what I mean. The perimeter of the school. No one should be able to come up from the woods and get into any playground where those kids are playing. Nobody should be able to get onto the grounds of the school. From the main entrance, there should be just like a gated community. Okay, we reinforce our state parks when they're operational with someone there in a gate, right? No one should be able to get onto the grounds. But they don't. And once they get onto the grounds and they come in, now this kid went in around shortly before noon, right? I don't think there was any recess or anything going on, but very well someone can time something so that there is a rush of a flurry of activity of gym classes moving off the fields into those. I know our school opens the big gymnasium doors, okay? And they'll keep them open. They'll prop them freaking open when the kids are going in and out. And anybody on the grounds can just go right into with a mass of kids. Could be waiting in their car. You can come onto the school, park your car in the parking lot. Nobody questions you. There's no pass you have to have on your car. There's no gate that you go through. So you could easily wait and just see a bunch of kids going in, especially in a high school where more people can blend in with height and stuff if they're that age, right? Just charge the door. Get right in, hide in a bathroom. That's what happens, and people just don't understand unless you secure the entire perimeter of the school, and people can't even come in to park and then go to the front doors. Exactly, Cecilia. And now they're trying to charge those dealers with homicide, and they should. And they should. And they should have made examples of them for a long time. It's a real shame. Yeah, they can take off, Galby, but there's kids that can't take off. There's people that can't take off, and it's just got to be, it's really disheartening. Take every single report that comes on there. Let's have a conversation about gun control. Not one person says we need to talk about securing our schools. Not one that I've heard. Exactly, and for that, because of that black market, because anybody can get a gun, and there's so many out there, we have to talk about securing the schools. And yet, no, I haven't heard one mention to even say, well, how did he get in school? Should we have, more security at the schools? I haven't heard one person say it. The same reason the cameras aren't working in the subways and nobody knows it until the shooting happens. And then when one shooting happens, another one happens, a month later? And cameras still aren't, not all the cameras are operational. Shouldn't that have been the main thing? Make sure every subway station in New York City has operational cameras? How are they still not working? How are some of them still off the wall? It's all priorities. Yeah, we have to do our best to be a good person. Yes, teach our children to be good. Yes, you never know what someone is going through exactly, but we have to do more than that. Just disheartening. It's really, yeah, it's just, Rosalita, it's disgusting. It's the nation's priorities are, yet, Rosalita, right? It's, we can have these grotesque trials of people suing each other for $100 million and $50 million for 5 and 6 weeks. It's not even a criminal trial. No one lost their life, but it's all about money and greed. And that's what so many in this nation are hooked on, right? Think about what other, look at law and crime carries those live trials, okay? Those of you that have followed this, what case has even come close has even come close to having the numbers that law and crime and other, have in there, or the amount of super chats you see going into there. Have you seen it? No, you haven't. Yet, this is not even a criminal trial. No one has even lost their life. Now, what about the children that were murdered, the trials that were covered? They didn't have that. They were lucky to have 1,000 or 2,000 people watching those trials. Maybe 3,000 was a good number. Okay? I never even saw super chats ever until this trial go into those law and crime trials. And when we're talking about ones where children were killed, women were killed, families were killed. Anthony Todt, his entire family, did not have a fraction. They have, what did they have? A minuscule fraction that was watching. It shows you everything. What's valued. Not whose fault, Lizzie. I don't know what you're talking about. We have to not be sitting ducks, Cecilia says, for criminals as well, and those we put in power must be held to account, not allowed to betray the voters. Yeah, the politicians, I no matter what side, I don't hold any politicians in reverence. They all lie, cheat, and steal, in my opinion, and say whatever they need to do to get to whatever position they want. And even the best of them, it's a very, very sleazy field. But anyway, I am going to do a cricket project. I'm going to do it in another video because I'm going to make an exploding birthday box. It's totally disheartening that I have not heard one person say, uh-oh. What's going on? Why is my thing spinning? My YouTube is spinning. I don't know why. My stream is still here. Why is it spinning? My thing is spinning. Oh, maybe it's my computer. I don't know. I think it's my Google Chrome has stopped, but I think, let me go to my Streamlabs, because Streamlabs seems fine. Yeah, my Streamlabs is fine. Oh, there it goes now. I think my, let me see. Now it's going, they talk and they never walk the talk. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it was my my own Google Chrome that was going crazy. Exactly, Denise Cormier. The values are just totally, exactly why teachers are paid what they are and actors and athletes are paid what they are, and there's such an imbalance. And that they're not even protected in the schools. Yeah, it's fixed now. It's my Google Chrome. Cecilia, I think some people just live in an ignorance is bliss, and it's all about them, not the big picture, and very few people get involved in anything that doesn't affect them personally or their families. And unfortunately, oh, that's in another town. Oh, this would not happen in my school. Oh, we don't have people like that live in our town. Everybody's got to say something when they see something. We know people aren't doing that. People don't do that because they don't want to rock the boat. Oh, don't tell anybody. How many times have you seen something and gone to someone and asked them, should I say something about this? And they'll say, it's probably not. No, you're making a big deal about it. It's nothing. It's nothing. You're going to open up a big can of worms for yourself. Don't do that. What if you get that guy ticked off that you're telling on? What if they tell them that you said something and that person comes after you now? How many times? Always. So people don't say something. People don't want to rock a boat. People don't want to get people enraged. Oh, it's nothing. I'm sure it's nothing. That kind of stuff doesn't happen here. What was he even doing at that school? So, again, somebody said because he crashed his car in the ditch, it kind of maybe that he was heading towards another school and then got there. I don't know. Nobody knows. Who knows? I'm sure his electronic devices and his social media messages and things will reveal certain plans of action. Exactly, Henny. And also, do you remember, Henny, I don't know, my parents used to tell me when people had cancer, back then, you didn't say your family member had cancer. You whispered it, you know. If you even did that, you know. Did you hear about Susie? She has cancer. Like, there was such a stigma on cancer. This is what we have to... Probably 50 years from now, they'll look back and say, can you believe the stigma that this country had on substance abuse? This stigma they had on mental health issues? Right? It's maybe the way we say, can you believe people hid cancer? Right? And as long as we tolerate people being shamed, like people said on YouTube, shaming, 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 someone comes out and they say, you know, I had a mental health breakdown, or I had they shame on social media, and they shame, and they're shaming people, and people watch this. Oh, this is great. I got to watch this. This creator's going to shame that one who came forward and said they had a nervous breakdown or that they were on the verge of suicide. And they're going to shame them and they're going to bully them. And I'm going to watch that. And I'm going to revel in that. And I'm going to take part in that. And I'm going to bash that person. And I'm going to go leave horrible comments about that person. Or abuse and, yeah, mental issues as well. Yeah. Everything was hidden, right? Don't tell them that your Uncle Harvey had to be committed. People went away. Oh, where'd they go? I don't know. They went away. They went traveling. It's disheartening. But I'm going to let you go. I'm probably going to come up on the other side and try to do a cricket project or something. I have to do a cricket project, and it gets so freaking disheartening because you know that it's just a matter of time, and you'll have, unfortunately, more families. Could be yours, it could be mine, affected with this stuff because nothing changes, and then everybody will say the same freaking thing. Why wasn't anything done? Why does this have to keep happening? Society only wants the pretty, the shiny, the happy, nothing real or problematic. Exactly. Just how disabled children and stuff were put away in institutions, right? Because they didn't fit with normal society. But I don't know. Anyway, I'll be on in a little bit over there with, I'll do some cricket stuff. I did this pineapple that I decoupage. I'm continuing to do this, but I'll be on over there. All right, and try to see something, right? So, unfortunately, Cecilia, right? Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. Come on and scream, why did this have to happen again? Wash, rinse, repeat. It's sad. Sad. All right, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. All right? Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to me. And I appreciate hearing your thoughts, too. Talk to you guys later. I love you. God bless. Prayers for all of these families and all of these victims and our future of our country.